You ever wake up one day and feel like life just shifted? Like someone pulled a rug from under your feet, but somehow you're still standing? Yeah, that was me. Name's Daniel Hart, 62 years old, retired mechanic, living in a quiet little town where the loudest thing at night is the old streetlight buzzing outside my porch. But don't let the calm fool you. This story ain't calm. Not even close. I still remember the morning it all started. I was halfway through my black coffee, staring at yesterday's mail scattered on the table. Most of it was the usual bills, grocery coupons, and some charity asking for money I didn't have. But one envelope, man, that one felt different. Heavy, personal, like it was breathing in my hands. No return address, no stamp, just my name, written the way only one person used to write it. Emma. And before you ask, yeah, that Emma. The one who left without saying goodbye 39 years back. The girl whose laugh used to shake the dust off my ribs. The woman I swore I'd get over, but never did. I didn't open it right away. I just sat there, feeling my heartbeat climb into my throat. Because letters like that, they don't just show up for nothing. Finally, I tore it open. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No greeting. No signature. Just one line. Daniel, I need your help. Please come. No address. No number. Just a tiny ink circle around a place name. Ridge Valley Motel, Room 12. Now listen, I'm a lot of things, but stupid ain't one of them. A mysterious letter from someone who disappeared decades ago. That's the kind of thing you see in crime shows, right before something bad happens. But here's the thing. Your heart doesn't care about logic. Especially not when it's someone you once loved enough to ruin yourself for. So I grabbed my coat, my keys, and the little courage I had left, and hit the road. The motel sat right outside town, the kind of place where the neon sign flickers like it's giving up on life. Room 12 was at the end of the building, curtains shut tight, no movement inside. My stomach twisted. Something fell off. Two off. I knocked. Once. Twice. Nothing. I pushed the door. Didn't even need a key. Was already cracked open like someone left in a hurry. Emma. I whispered. The room was empty. Cold. But on the bed, there was another envelope. This one wasn't addressed to me. It read, if you're reading this, it's already too late. And right there, a chill crawled down my spine. Because whatever this was, whatever Emma was running from, I was in it now, and getting out wasn't going to be easy. You know that feeling when your gut starts yelling louder than your brain? Yeah, that's exactly what hit me the second I read those words. If you're reading this, it's already too late. I swear the whole room got colder. Like somebody had opened a freezer behind me. I stood there in that dusty motel room, staring at the envelope like it was about to bite. And the worst part? Emma still wasn't there. No footprints. No bugs. No signs of life. Just a cheap motel pillow with a perfume scent I hadn't smelled in almost 4 decades. Same perfume she wore the last night I ever saw her. My chest tightened. I stepped back outside, scanned the parking lot, 2 beat-up pickups, 1 silver sedan, and a guy smoking near the vending machine. He kept staring at me like he knew something I didn't. I walked his way slow, controlled. You see anyone come out of room 12? I asked. He took a long drag, looked me dead in the eyes, and said, Buddy, I ain't seen nothing, but you should leave. Folks start looking for people who poke around that room. He flicked his cigarette and walked off like he'd said too much already. That's when I realized this wasn't just some emotional reunion gone wrong. Something else was at play. Something way bigger than me, bigger than Emma, bigger than Ridge Valley Motel. I went back to the doorstep of room 12, crouched down, and picked up the second letter. This one had an address scribbled on the back. Harper Street, cabin number 7. Harper Street wasn't even a street. It was a dirt road leading into the woods on the edge of town. Nobody lived there anymore. Most of those cabins were abandoned 30 years ago after a fire. So why the hell was Emma sending me there? Before I could think about it, headlights rolled into the parking lot. Slow, creeping like the driver didn't want to be seen. A black SUV. Windows tinted darker than secrets. It didn't park, didn't circle, just watched. A chill stabbed the back of my neck. I stepped away from room 12 and pretended to head toward my truck. The SUV moved the moment I moved. Not fast, just enough to show me they weren't leaving. All right, I muttered. So that's how we're playing this. I got into my truck, started the engine, and pulled out. The SUV followed. Not close, just keeping distance. Too smooth to be amateurs. Whoever they were, they knew about the letter. Maybe they knew about Emma. Maybe they were the reason she disappeared in the first place. Instead of driving home, I took a sharp left, hit the old road leading to Harper Street. Trees swallowed the light as I drove deeper into the woods. My truck bounced on the broken path. The SUV slowed, but kept coming. Cabin number 7 finally showed up, half collapsed, windows busted, roof sagging. I stepped out, heart pounding. The door was open. Inside, something was waiting. A shadow, a figure, standing perfectly still. And then I heard a voice I hadn't heard in almost 40 years. "Daniel, we don't have much time." I froze. Everything inside me just shut down for a second. Because that voice, that soft, shaky, familiar voice, belonged to her, Emma. She stepped into the faint light coming through the busted roof, and for a moment, the whole world stopped. She looked older, tired, like life had been dragging her by the throat for years. But her eyes, those were the same. Same fire, same fear, same warmth I'd memorized a lifetime ago. "Emma, what the hell is going on?" I whispered. She held up a hand. "Daniel, please. Close the door." I did, mostly out of instinct, partly out of panic. Outside, the forest groaned in the wind. Inside, my heartbeat was louder than my thoughts. "You left me a note in a motel," I said. "You dragged me out here, and now there's a damn SUV following me. You better start talking." Emma swallowed hard, like she was choosing her words one by one. I didn't know who else to trust. That hit me in a place I didn't know was still alive. She walked over to an old table, pulled out a folder, and slid it toward me. "I've been running for months, Daniel. They're not just watching me. They're watching anyone connected to me." "Who's they?" She pressed her lips together. "A man named Reynolds. You remember him?" I frowned. "Reynolds? You mean your old boss? The one from the research lab?" She nodded. "He wasn't just a boss. He was running something illegal, dangerous. When I found out, I collected proof. Files, names, transactions. And once he realized I knew," her voice cracked. "I disappeared." My hands tightened around the folder. Inside were pictures, signatures, documents. They all had one thing in common. Reynolds' name was everywhere, tied to something big, something dirty. "You should have gone to the cops," I said. "I tried," she whispered. "But Reynolds has people everywhere. People who make problems disappear." That explained the SUV, the stare down at the motel, the missing signature on the letter. But then she said something that knocked the air out of me. "Daniel, he knows about you now." My stomach dropped. Why the hell would he know about me? Because I told him once, years ago, that you were the only person I ever trusted with my life. And they traced the letter. They know you came. A branch cracked outside. Heavy. Close. Emma grabbed my arm. "Daniel, listen to me. We have to go. Right now. If they find us here..." Bang. Something slammed against the cabin door. My heart shot up into my throat. Emma's hand shook as she whispered, "They're here." Bang. Bang. Louder. The door hinges rattled. "Out the back," she hissed. We ran through the collapsed hallway, ducking under broken beams. My boots slipped on fallen plaster. Behind us, the cabin door burst open. Voices. Flashlights. Footsteps closing in fast. Emma pulled me toward a narrow opening in the wall. "Daniel, go." "No, you go first." "No time," she cried. The footsteps were seconds away. I grabbed her hand, pulled her through the gap, just as a flashlight beam swept across the room. And then a voice shouted, "Don't let them escape." Branches whipped against my face as we tore through the woods like two people who had absolutely no business running at our age. Behind us, flashlights stabbed through the darkness, voices barking orders like hunting dogs that just caught a scent. "Emma, watch your step," I whispered harshly. Too late. Her foot snagged a root, and she stumbled forward. I grabbed her arm just in time, steadying her before she face-planted into a fallen log. "You okay?" I panted. She nodded, breath shaky. "Keep going. They're close." Oh, they weren't just close. They were gaining. I could hear them. Twigs snapping, boots crunching, radios crackling. "South side," one of them yelled. "They're heading toward the creek." Damn it. They knew exactly where we were going. We slid down a small hillside, mud spraying up as we hit the bottom. A thin creek cut through the woods, the moonlight glimmering on the water's surface. "Cross it," Emma said. "Footprints disappear in the stream." "Since when did you learn survival tricks?" She managed a tiny smile. "Since I started running." We splashed through the icy water, the current pushing against our shins. On the other bank, we climbed up fast, using the tall grass as cover. But as soon as we reached the top, I froze. The black SUV, parked right on the trail ahead. "They knew we'd come this way," I muttered. Emma squeezed my hand, tight, desperate. "Daniel, they have trackers everywhere. I only brought you here to give you the files. You weren't supposed to stay. You weren't supposed to get dragged into this." "Well," I said, trying to breathe. "Too late for that now." A door on the SUV creaked open. A tall man stepped out. Broad shoulders, gray hair slicked back, a suit too clean for these woods. "Reynolds." "Emma," he called out, voice calm like he owned the whole damn forest. "Enough running." Emma's whole body stiffened. I felt her fear in my bones. Reynolds took a few slow steps toward us. "You should have never come back." My fist clenched. "She didn't come back. I brought her." He smirked. "Ah, yes. Daniel Hart, the old boyfriend." His eyes narrowed. "Sentimental and stupid." Emma stepped in front of me, shaking her head. "Leave him alone, Reynolds. He has nothing to do with this." Reynolds raised a brow. "Oh, he does now. You involved him the moment you wrote that first note." My teeth ground together. "What the hell do you want?" Reynolds pointed at Emma's pocket. "The drive." Emma flinched. I hadn't even known she had a drive. "Give it to me," Reynolds said gently, like he was asking for a cup of sugar. "And maybe I'll let you walk away." "No," Emma whispered. "Not again." Reynolds sighed, disappointed. "Then you leave me no choice." He snapped his fingers. Two men emerged from the trees behind us, guns drawn. I pulled Emma behind me, heart slamming against my ribs. This was it. This was the moment everything broke. Reynolds took another step forward, and then a shot fired from the darkness. Reynolds stumbled back, shocked. The men behind us spun around, yelling, and a new voice shouted from the trees. "Daniel! Emma! Get down now!" The gunshot echoed through the trees like thunder, and instinct kicked in before my brain did. I yanked Emma down with me, both of us hitting the dirt hard. Reynolds stumbled backward, clutching his arm where blood had started soaking through his sleeve. His men spun around, flashlights whipping through the darkness, trying to find whoever fired that shot. Then the voice came again, steady, deep, and way too familiar. "Daniel, move to your left. Keep low." My stomach dropped. "No, no way. That couldn't be." "Is that?" Emma whispered. "It can't be," I muttered. But it was. I knew that voice anywhere. It was my brother, Mark, a man I hadn't spoken to in over 15 damn years. Before either of us could process it, another shot cracked through the air. One of Reynolds' men dropped to his knees, weapons skidding across the dirt. "Retreat!" Reynolds barked, grabbing the second man and dragging him toward the SUV. The headlights flared bright as the engine roared to life. I shielded Emma, expecting more gunfire. But Reynolds wasn't looking to fight anymore. He was escaping. The SUV shot backward down the trail, fishtailing through mud, then disappeared into the trees. Silence swallowed the woods. Heavy. Unreal. "Daniel," Emma said softly, still gripping my sleeve. "Your brother, he saved us." I didn't answer. My heart was punching holes in my chest as footsteps approached, slow, careful, coming from the shadows. Mark emerged with a rifle slung across his shoulder, a full beard, and the same tired eyes I grew up with. He looked older, rougher, but unmistakably him. "Damn," he whispered when he reached us. "You two look like hell." I almost laughed, but emotions hit me too fast, too hard. "What the hell are you doing here?" I demanded. Mark lifted his hands slightly. "Easy. I'm not your enemy." "You disappeared," I said. 15 years. No calls. No explanations." "I know," he murmured. "And I'll explain everything. But not here. Not while Reynolds is still breathing." Emma stepped in. "Mark, how do you even know about Reynolds?" That's when Mark's face changed. Hardened. Guarded. "I've been tracking him for a long time," he said quietly. "Long before you got involved." Emma's breath caught. "You were following me?" "I was protecting you," Mark said. From a distance, Reynolds has eyes everywhere. My showing up sooner would have put you at even greater risk. I ran a hand through my hair, overwhelmed. So you've been hiding out in these damn woods like some renegade soldier? Mark didn't deny it. He just said, there's more going on than you know. Reynolds isn't working alone. He's part of something bigger, something that goes deeper than any of us realized. I felt the bottom of my stomach drop. Bigger how? I asked. Mark took a long breath. Daniel, Emma, the files she has, they're only half the story. Reynolds didn't just want to silence her. He needed to stop her before she discovered who else was involved. Emma blinked. Who else? Mark looked right at me. You might want to sit down for this. Why? I whispered. Mark hesitated. Then he said the one thing that shattered the floor beneath us. Because someone very close to you is working with Reynolds. My whole world just stopped. Someone close to me? I repeated, my voice barely hanging on. Mark, what the hell does that mean? Mark lowered his rifle and stepped closer, his face carved with guilt. Daniel, I don't want you to find out like this. Not here. Not while we're still in danger. Just say it, I demanded. Enough riddles. Emma touched my arm gently, grounding me, but my insides were shaking like loose bolts. Mark exhaled slowly. The person helping Reynolds is Dad. I swear my knees almost buckled. Dad, my father, an old stubborn man who raised us with calloused hands and strict rules. A man who preached honesty like it was scripture. That's impossible, I whispered. Dad can barely walk these days. He can't even run a lawnmower, let alone a criminal operation. Mark shook his head. Physically? No, but he doesn't have to. Reynolds is using him. Dad has connections, old friend from the force, people who still owe him favors. He gives Reynolds information in exchange for money. Money Dad says he needs for medical bills. Emma gasped softly. He traded your safety for cash. The betrayal hit me like a punch to the ribs. My own father? Selling information to a monster? I shoved a hand through my hair. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because you would have confronted him, Mark said. And if you did, Reynolds would have killed you. I've been trying to protect you both. The woods felt suddenly smaller, suffocating. So what now? I asked. We run forever? Hide until Reynolds dies of old age. Mark stepped forward. No, we hit him where it hurts, exposing the entire network. Emma's drive has the data. I have the rest. Together, we can take them down. Emma nodded, stronger now despite the fear in her eyes. Daniel, this isn't just about us anymore. If we walk away, Reynolds keeps hurting people. I look between them, Emma, the woman I once loved, and Mark, the brother I lost but somehow just got back. Then I heard leaves crunch softly behind us. I spun around, hand reaching for anything I could use as a weapon, but it was just an old man stepping into the moonlight. Dad, his cane tapped against the ground, his face shadowed, unreadable. Daniel, he said softly. Every muscle in my body locked up. Dad, what are you doing here? He looked at Mark. You should have stayed away. Mark stiffened. It's over, Dad. We know everything. Dad's jaw clenched, the weight of 1,000 lies sitting behind his eyes. I did what I had to, he said. Reynolds offered protection, money, a chance to fix mistakes I made years ago. By selling out your own sons? I snapped. He closed his eyes, voice trembling. I never wanted you hurt, but you were never supposed to get involved. Well, I said bitterly, too late for that. Dad lifted his hand slowly, holding a phone. Reynolds is coming, he said, to finish what I couldn't. The wind stopped. The world froze. In the distance, engines roared. Headlights sliced through the trees. Emma grabbed my arm. Daniel, we have to decide. Right now. Fight or run. Mark cocked his rifle. Whatever you choose, I'm with you. And Dad just looked at me with a heartbreaking mixture of regret and fear. The headlights grew brighter. Reynolds' SUV. More vehicles behind it. This was the moment. Everything would change after tonight. I took a breath, looked at Emma, then at Mark, and finally at the man who betrayed me. And I whispered, all right, let's finish this. And before I close this chapter, I want to ask you something. Should Charles take the next step into this mystery? Or should this story rest with Grace's final secret? If you want this journey to continue, drop a comment below and let me know. Your voice decides what happens next. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's so much more to tell, and I don't want you to miss the next chapter of this story.